Welcome to Mintel's Little Conversation podcast.
Welcome to Mintel Little Conversation, where experts bring you fresh ideas and new perspectives on how consumers eat, drink, shop, groom, and think. I'm Macke, Research Director at Mintel. I'm here in Mintel's U.S. office based in Chicago. We're recording right after Cyber Monday on Wednesday, December the 4th. But before we took off in the U.S. for Thanksgiving break, we recorded some Black Friday and Cyber Monday predictions for this year. On today's episode, we're going to reveal the predictions and see if our analysts were right. But before we jump in, let's start with some quick introductions.
Hi, I'm Alexis DeSalva. I'm the Senior Retail and eCommerce Analyst.
Hi, I'm Nick Carroll. I'm the Associate Director of Retail Research here in the UK.
Hi, I'm Lierin, Ehmke. I'm a Senior Digital Marketing Analyst.
So the last time we were all together, Alexis made some what I thought were pretty bold predictions about when consumers would get the best Black Friday deals this year. So we're going to take the Wayback Machine and we're going to listen in to Alexis, her prediction from, I think this was November 19th when we all got together and made predictions. So let's listen what Alexis had to say.
My prediction is that the best Black Friday deals will actually be available before Black Friday. The holiday season only has about 25 days this year between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is shorter than normal. And as a result, retailers are introducing their deals earlier, giving previews of upcoming promotions on events like Singles Day and in the weekends prior to Thanksgiving. Knowing that consumers are already scoping out the savings and having time to shop during the holiday week, the best time to save and score great gifts and deals will not actually be on Black Friday alone, but earlier in the week when savings are available and inventory will actually be better.
Okay, so listening back, Alexis, are you kicking yourself or are you patting yourself on the back? Like, this is a great prediction. What did you think? Did this turn out the way you expected?
Well, first, I want your Wayback Machine. I'm going to put that on my Christmas list. I didn't see that on any Black Friday deals. I am giving myself, I would say, a half pat on the back because many deals were, in fact, available to Black Friday, with some as early as Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So some of the retailers that we saw, their deals did change as the week progressed. So, for example, Target, they revealed their Black Friday deals a few days ahead. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday prior to Black Friday. And then those deals evolved throughout the week. So there were special deals throughout the week, teasing the Black Friday, and then there were different doorbusters that changed for Cyber Monday. Other retailers like J.Crew and Madewell, they offered their Black Friday deals, the discounts, I believe it was 50 off and 30 off respectively, ahead of and through the Thanksgiving weekend. So all in all, it really does look like the early reveals of deals really had consumer shopping before Black Friday. And I actually saw that the NRF had reported, NRF is the National Retail Federation, they reported that more than 50% of consumers said they're already done their holiday shopping, as opposed to last year, it was 44% had said that at the same point of the holiday season. So I want to point out, it doesn't mean that Black Friday and Cyber Monday are insignificant. In fact, Amazon was reporting a record sales day on Cyber Monday, outpacing last year, and I believe Prime Day as well. It just means that in the US, it's signaling the emphasis is moving away from a single day and more towards the whole week of Thanksgiving, and that consumers now know that they can get those deals ahead of time and then avoid the headache of, going into Thanksgiving or going into a store on Thanksgiving Day at 5 o'clock or getting out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday. It kind of loses the luster of that because they can kind of check them throughout the week.
So I know we talk about, I think it's Christmas creep. Is that what they call it? Where Christmas is getting like earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, is this happening with Black Friday too? Now we're going to have all of those deals are going to start, I don't want to say after Halloween, but are they going to start after Halloween?
No, I think it depends on when the holiday falls. And I think we noted in the prediction that part of the reasoning for this thought is that the holiday shopping season is 6 days shorter this year than last year. I mean, it's December 4th, and we're talking about Thanksgiving, which was, less than a week ago. So you really are losing almost a week of sales. So in theory, the retailers have to really think about talking about those promotions and those gifting ideas early. So that's why this year we really saw, I think Target and Walmart were doing Black Friday early sneak peeks, like the weekend after Halloween, like November 7th, that weekend. And I think it's because you're losing then what would normally be an extra week between Thanksgiving and Christmas. In general, consumers know that they have more transparency at their fingertips, so they can kind of look online Monday, Tuesday while they're at work or at home before the holiday, and then figure out if they want to go out or not, or wait. So it is changing a little bit, but it definitely has to do with when the holiday falls throughout the year.
So I had another question specifically about Target. As Alexis knows, I am quite a heavy Target shopper.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm a proud Target shopper. Do you think part of the reason they were really pushing these early deals was because they've just relaunched their loyalty program too? Do you think those things were tied together? They're doing this, like, I want to say Target Circle is like their new loyalty program. Do you think they're trying to drive?
Yeah, I think they're definitely planning that to align with each other. I think they launched that knowing that it would, come in time for the holidays, knowing that it's a shorter season, that they're going to have to rethink maybe the strategy as opposed to the last few years because of the timing. I also think Target did something really clever where on Black Friday, they were offering a $1 off coupon. They had like their % off and their doorbusters, but then if you spent $50 or more, then you got 20% off. Sorry, I got that inverted, to come back later in December. So it's kind of a new way of thinking of offering a little bit of savings, but also making sure that means you're going to come back. You're not just going to be in there for the deals and be gone. But yeah, I do think that a lot of retailers have to rethink that whole strategy for the year when they start planning and seeing that the holiday is shorter, it falls later. Things like that. But I think Target was interesting because they kept that deal calendar, the deal cadence happening throughout the week, but they were changing it. So it wasn't like it was stale by the time it was the day that, Black Friday or Cyber Monday. It was still interesting and exciting.
Yeah. And I will say that even though I did see like a lot of early promotions, they're still going.
Oh, I know. I got
no end.
Well, and that's the other thing that's interesting too, is because that Giving Tuesday was yesterday. So now we saw a lot of the Black Friday deals basically just extended through the weekend. I would say that I saw for some retailers, some of the Black Friday deals that started ahead of Black Friday kind of, for some, ended on Black Friday, and then maybe they had a different discount going into the weekend ahead of Cyber Monday. Some that didn't start early kept the Black Friday going through Cyber Monday and either kept the same thing the whole time or changed it Cyber Monday. And then I saw that there were some that carried that Cyber Monday discount into yesterday because then they maybe coupled it with some sort of proceeds to a certain organization or foundation for Giving Tuesday as well. So I think they maybe tailored the messaging, but the deal and the savings was essentially the same.
Okay. So we were saying prediction.
Correct. Some. Yes.
Correct. Okay. Round of applause. Okay. Let's move on to Nick's prediction, because his prediction was a little bit different. It was about Black Friday backlash. Let's listen to what Nick had to say before Black Friday.
And have twofold prediction. One, it'll be the biggest Black Friday yet in the UK. As Alexis said, it's the shortest lead up to Christmas we've had, at least since Amazon introduced the term Black Friday to us in 2010. And obviously in the UK, we're quite value conscious at the moment. Actually, the second part of my prediction is that we're going to see more retailers actually run alternative sales around the event or outwardly protest the event. Perhaps giving rise or highlighting more ethical or charitable based shopping behaviours in the lead up to the festive period.
Okay, so Nick, what did you see in the way of Black Friday alternatives this year?
Oh, sorry, you've just got to give me a moment for hearing myself over the microphone. That was awful. So in terms of my prediction, I think I probably get about a half point on that. So I think first and foremost, I think this was the biggest Black Friday the UK has ever seen since Amazon sort of introduced it back in 2010. As Alexis highlighted in her prediction, all the factors were set up well for it to do well, being, under 4 weeks till Christmas, in the UK after the payday at the end of the month, and, at the moment the UK is quite value conscious. All of that built into what looks to be the biggest Black Friday yet. We won't know until our Office for National Statistics give us the full figures later in the month, but some data from Barclaycard, which looks after about a third of payments in the UK, says that sales on the day itself are up 16.5%, and the likes of John Lewis here and Boohoo have said already that it was their biggest yet. However, the second part of my prediction was about, those protesting or not, or all giving some alternative to Black Friday. And I think we did see that. So in terms of those that didn't get involved, they were the usual suspects here in the UK. So our second and third largest clothing retailers by market share, M&S and Primark, yet again did not join in on the promotions. And that's been a long-standing, position from them. The likes of Next, the biggest clothing retailer, has had that position in the past, but now is one of the biggest in terms of Black Friday. Asda sort of says it doesn't get involved, but it kind of does, because this year it had under the title Roll Black a promotional period across the week, so essentially it did get involved. And actually, depending on your view of how Black Friday is impacting the UK retail sector, it was potentially disappointing that some, such as Fatface, who have in the past taken a stance and said, here's our price promise, we're not going to discount until Christmas, did actually get involved this year. So all of that sounds like I've got the prediction horribly wrong. However, there are some good, at least points for me in terms of prediction. So I think we did see in Europe, it started in France by a gentleman named Nicolas Raw. He's the founder of a French retailer, and I'm going to butcher the French language here, of Fuago, which is a retailer that has 500 points of sale in Europe, and their key USP is that for every product sold, they plant a tree. So obviously an ethically minded and ethically focused retailer, but they, or indeed Nicholas did, he started a collective dubbed Make Friday Green Again, and that has some questionable associations, but started a campaign in that area, and that actually brought together over 450 clothing brands and retailers across Europe, most of them smaller, most of them up and coming, independent, usually with some kind of sustainability message. But they joined in together, refusing to discount on Black Friday, and actually encouraging on the day itself their customers to sort through, resell and recycle old clothes. So there was a real strong message there of, consumption and the impact in terms of consumerism on the environment. It's certainly a hot topic at the moment with, global protests and that type of thing. And that was something we saw across the sector. So you had other people who were not necessarily aligned with this, but did similar things. So the ethically minded Swedish brand Asket, which is growing particularly in the UK, and whose name literally translates as a person who does without extravagance and abundance. So you can see where their messaging is. They ran the campaign on socials on Black Friday that I thought was funny, that they did a big sort of good news. Today, for one day only, you can buy our products at the exact same price you can any other day. Which got them a bit of attention. And then you have in beauty, Dyson, who own the brand The Ordinary, closed all of its stores and websites on Black Friday itself, and instead offered up a 23% discount after the event, essentially targeting the idea of rushing out on the sort of hyper consumerism, as they call it, that Black Friday can bring. And then you had more big charitable organizations like Greenpeace that ran pieces around, the impact that Black Friday has on consumerism and the impact of the planet. So I think in general, my prediction, I'll give myself half a point. But unless Alexis or Lierin, you have any examples from across the pond which will allow me to get the other half of people not getting involved, but I'm not sure if you've seen anything around that area.
I came across something. I came across something interesting on Black Friday. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Everlane.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry, Alexis.
I have another one, so that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Everlane, and Everlane is known as being a very transparent company and very environmentally friendly. And I saw that on Black Friday, they did not push any deals whatsoever. Instead, they had a partnership with, and Alexis, you can correct me, Oceana. Oceania, in order to help stop the creation of single-use plastics. So up to $300,000 that were spent on Everlane, they were going to match that amount, which wasn't necessarily anti-Black Friday, but I think it was very kind of pro-environmentalism, which was very refreshing to see.
Yeah, I have done that for a few years, I think since 2014. And I think it's interesting because they also didn't do anything for Cyber Monday. Instead, they focused on, they have a line of products that is from like a Renew line. Basically, it's like sustainably sourced, sustainably made. You can kind of gather that from the name. So they kind of pushed that and are focusing more on sustainable gifting ideas, basically ways to give back by making a purchase, but that's smarter and more conscious. And I think it's interesting to hear you, Nick, talk about how there's kind of this push in the UK for certain retailers to get away from Black Friday, but I feel like in the US, the whole issue that a lot of people have with it is that, well, why are we talking about going out and buying all this stuff for ourselves or other people like the day after we're like have this national day of giving thanks, or even opening up a store on Thanksgiving? So in my mind, it's always been like that it's taking the meaning away from both Thanksgiving and Christmas. But it's interesting to hear how that doesn't necessarily have to just do with Thanksgiving in the US, that it's kind of, meaning or moving elsewhere. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I did see on Black Friday, Rent the Runway. They're a rental clothing service here in the US. Obviously, you're not really, you spend money to have a membership or to rent something once, but you're not necessarily spending money shopping there as you would elsewhere. And they actually sent out emails to their members saying, like, you don't need to shop this Black Friday, and basically gave stats about how certain purchases made during the Christmas holiday season end up going to waste, or consumers end up buying this amount of stuff that they don't need during the holiday season, and how it's actually smarter for you and the environment to rent. So kind of a different approach, but similar.
Yeah,
so you're not wrong.
Good, excellent. No, I think, that was interesting to hear. The idea of after Thanksgiving opening stores. Obviously, that's not a problem we have here in the UK. But I think obviously a lot of the people that did run these alternative sales or alternative promotions comes from ethically minded or being sustainable. But in general, there's a sort of feeling in the UK retail sector that we don't particularly like Black Friday as a sector. But now it's here. Now it's something we have to engage with, because, it's not a holiday here in the UK. It's just a normal Friday. And for many retailers, in the lead up to Christmas, this would be prime full price selling. But it's introduced a whole, promotional period, and that is, for many, hurt margins for many years. I think actually now the retail sector has kind of got their head around it. When it blew up in 2014, 2015, there was many retailers that profits fell quite a bit over the period because they just had to jump in with their stock that they had, whereas now it's done properly with, stocks brought in, etc. But there's still a feeling that, I think as it's often said, if we could put the genie back in the bottle in the UK, we probably would, but it's one of those things that's not happened. And what's interesting is in Europe, because it comes so close to Christmas, in Europe actually Singles Day is now becoming more of a shopping day. The Chinese shopping holiday, and we're seeing more because that gives a nicer break towards Christmas. However, in the UK, that would be 11/11, which is our Remembrance Day. It doesn't fit here. So actually, to your point, extending the period or deals before, we see retailers go into Black Friday sales in the first, second weekend of November to try and give that gap towards Christmas.
So I want to talk about a retailer that we haven't mentioned yet in this conversation about Black Friday, and that's Walmart, because this was really the linchpin of Lierin's prediction. So let's listen to what Lierin predicted before Black Friday.
My prediction is that 2019 holiday shopping is going to be the year of Walmart. So there are a few things going in play. The biggest one, as Alexis mentioned, the holiday shopping season is actually significantly shorter than in past years. So because of this, there's going to be a greater priority of peace and mind for consumers through convenient purchases, such as one-day shipping or one-day delivery and pickup. And products and urgency are going to be the most marketable marketable elements that we're going to see from retailers during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday season. And we've seen that Walmart has made significant investments into kind of serving these different elements and equipping them to be the strongest for this short season. And we see this through their investment in one-day shipping for non-members, which is a direct target to its biggest competitor, Amazon, and Amazon Prime. And this also serves consumers that are more product focused versus brand focused. We've also seen investments in other products that are going to help strengthen Walmart, such as their co-brand card with Capital One that will set them up to provide strong cashback rewards surrounding Black Friday and Cyber Monday that we believe we're going to be seeing them put on the forefront of their advertising. So we believe that all of this is going to help leverage Walmart and make them as strong as possible to really succeed in this holiday shopping season.
So how did Walmart fare this year based on what you've seen thus far? I know it's still kind of early, but what do you think?
In terms of my prediction, I don't think I'm wrong. I'm not wrong here. I think that, even though it's very early, we are still going to see stronger numbers. But even in kind of the early reports of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Walmart has consistently topped the list of brands that have done very well. It's been a very interesting year with the shorter kind of sale period with the holidays coming in. And I think Walmart really capitalized on their strengths here and really invested properly in order to kind of stay afloat during this short sale season. So the first thing that we notice here is foot traffic actually decreased about 6% in store year over year. But a lot of in-store surveys kind of reported traffic was stronger in Walmart. We don't see any specific numbers quite yet, but that is promising to see. And we actually predict that this is probably due to the fact that Walmart has really elevated its click and collect orders. So it's order online and pickup. And we actually see that for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the click and collect orders overall for all retailers have increased 43% year over year. So that really instills that idea that because there is such a short shopping season this year, consumers want more reliable means to get their packages, maybe kind of deriving away from the delivery aspect because you do have that threat of stolen packages, them coming late, what have you. And Walmart really capitalized on this element, and I think it served them well and helped drive that in-store traffic for them. The other big element here is the fact that they also boosted their digital angle here as well. So we see that out of the big box retailers, they were the brand that spent the most the week of Thanksgiving. They spent over $9 million in digital advertising, which is actually more than Amazon, which is crazy to think about considering Amazon is almost exclusively a digital company. And additionally, taking a look at what exactly their strategy was for their digital campaign was wildly interesting. So they relied mostly on paid Facebook advertising, highly targeted, but their paid Facebook campaign kind of boosted their Black Friday sales in store by incentivizing people to come in store, to come into Walmart early at around 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving so they can be provided snacks and coffee from Walmart before the actual store opens at 6 p.m. for deals. So it's a very interesting way to incentivize people that come into the store and also kind of alleviate that whole big rush that Walmart has been known for Black Friday shopping as well. So very interesting there. But I think with this in mind, Black Friday or Walmart did do really well in terms of kind of their advertising, and we do see them in reports is doing very well for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but I do think it's worth noting that there are clear other winners. And Alexis and Nick, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, other brands that you think you believe have won Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But as Alexis mentioned earlier, Amazon actually reported its biggest sale day ever for Cyber Monday. So, which is huge considering like their past Prime Day was considered their biggest sale ever. So they just keep getting better and better, right? Soon they're
outdoing themselves. They're going to have like a very, very high target to hit next year.
So, but another brand that I was surprised to see on these lists was Lululemon.
Yep.
As constantly mentioned as having the strongest foot traffic and known for having the best deals. I mean, I think they have someone who should be promoted within PR, right? Because they're just left and right within the news. But it was very interesting to see. I mean, my colleagues also mentioned seeing lines going down the block out of the Lululemon stores on Black Friday and throughout the weekend. And then the other brand, of course, is Best Buy. So Best Buy, along with Walmart, released one-day delivery, which is a direct attack to Amazon, of course. And similar to Walmart, they leveraged kind of digital campaigns to boost their earlier deals. So we saw Best Buy kind of about a week before Thanksgiving promoting deals that would be occurring all throughout Thanksgiving week, and of course Black Friday and that weekend, which is a similar strategy to what Walmart did as well. So, and we also see Best Buy being on the list of performing very well during this time.
So what I'm hearing from everyone is all your predictions are correct, and my prediction was that your prediction would be correct. So my prediction is also correct.
You're welcome.
So I think
we're not wrong.
Yes, we're all patting ourselves on the back. This is a really interesting Black Friday wrap up. Before we close out the episode, I want to know, did anyone buy anything Black Friday, Cyber Monday that they want to share that they got a really good deal on?
I did. I hope my husband is not listening to this podcast. I'm going to tell him not to. He wanted one. Well, actually, he didn't even put this on his list because he didn't give me one. But those Yeti coolers, they're like, and they're expensive. And they never go on sale, but Dick's Sporting Goods, thank you. They get 25% off on Black Friday. So I got that. And then I got toys for my niece, Target. They had like all the hot stuff, apparently. That's what Target told me, so I believe them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I told you.
I'm not going to give one away because I know my girlfriend probably will listen to this. But my stepdad, who definitely won't, he got on from his wish list. He got a NutriBullet this year, which I got. A pro tip for anyone, at least in the UK, Amazon, obviously lots of Black Friday deals, but always gives a blanket discount, 20-30% off its warehouse products. And they're obviously cheaper to begin with. And in general, they're just returns. So he got it looks perfectly brand new, but he got a warehouse deal NutriBullet, and he also got a razor. So very exciting for him this year.
I'm halfway ashamed to admit that most of my Cyber Monday shopping was through Amazon. So I took care of most of my family Christmas gifts, but also they had a really good deal on this very nice kind of duffel bag that I managed to snag for a white elephant that my family does every year. So, yeah.
Well, you all made me feel terrible because I did a lot of Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping, and it was all for me. I don't think I bought any gifts for anyone.
Same here.
I did give myself a pair of jeans, Levi's, 40 off.
Yep, me too.
I didn't want to be the only one to be like, well, I bought myself this, but thank you, Dana.
Well, happy holidays to me. Listeners, we would love to hear if you think we met our predictions or if we missed our predictions. So you can write us a letter here at 333 West Wacker. We'd love to hear your responses. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast content. We'll be here next week with another holiday episode of Little Conversation.